This video is sponsored by F1 Delta Time. F1 Delta Time is the officially licensed F1 game from Animoca Brands running on the Ethereum blockchain. In F1 Delta Time, you buy NFTs, racing cars, components, drivers and tyres. You put them together in your workshop and then you can go off and race the daily time trial. This is different tracks under different weather conditions, and at the end of the week the top placed players gain rewards. There's also a staking mechanic, which means you can stake cars that you are not using in the game and gain the in-game cryptocurrency called Rev. The game is now launching its 2020 season with a new set of NFTs and is also now experimenting with NFTs that allow you to own parts of the track, which means anytime players race on that track, you also gain some Rev token. You can check it all out at f1deltatime.com. Thanks for the sponsorship. Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World Daily with me, John Jordan. This is the YouTube channel all about blockchain games, so please subscribe if you are interested. So the news today we're looking at is another F1 Delta Time auction. So we had one a couple of days ago, and it was the most expensive game NFT ever sold, at least according to Animoca Brands, $223,000 worth of value. At the same time they were selling that NFT, which is part of the Monaco circuit, they also had a kind of another auction going on, which is for one of these high-end cars in the game. So the rarest NFTs in F1 Delta Time are called Apex. That's the rarest. It's even more rare than Legendary. There's a slight inflation of terms about rarity, I feel. But anyway, they're called Apex, and they're basically one-off cars, and they're each kind of attached to a circuit, and they have particularly strong stats for that circuit. Although that's not the reason they are so valuable. The reason they're so valuable is there's very few of them. I think currently less than, let's have a think, probably definitely less than 10 of these vehicles out at the moment. So what's interesting really is not, I don't think, the price. So we have here a price of $77,000. I mean, that's fairly expensive for any digital item. It is, as far as I can see, the second most expensive F1 Delta Time Apex car ever sold. The first most expensive one was the 111 car back in 2019 that sold for $111,000. So this is definitely up there. The other ones I think sold for about $25,000, something like that, $30,000. It's been a few. So this is definitely shows a kind of, as we'd expect with F1 Delta Time coming close to kind of final release or the proper parts of the game being released. And there's a lot of interest around this. The Rev token had a lot of interest, and these mechanics, these staking mechanics, these mining mechanics have been trialed at the moment. What's interesting, I think, is who bought it. So we've had for a lot of for the two most expensive F1 Delta Time NFTs so far, they've been bought by a guy called Meta Kovan, or that's his kind of pseudo-anonymous Twitter handle, and he's a kind of wealthy entrepreneur, investor, tech guy. He's been buying things for an NFT kind of collection that's called the Meta Purse. So he's buying on a slightly different level to most people. But this guy, Tony G, so he's actually quite a well-known Lithuanian businessman and kind of crypto guy, and he's played a lot of poker and the typical sort of kind of entrepreneur, larger-than-life entrepreneur sort of businessman that we kind of see around a lot these days. And he's kind of, he's been into crypto, and now he's really seems to have not fixated, that's the wrong word. He seems to have got very excited about F1 Delta Time as a game. So he's actually created a team, and we're starting to see this a little bit now, that there are some people who are putting together teams in F1 Delta Time and driving up the price of some of these expensive high-end Apex NFTs, and they're doing that in order to be winning in the game, to actually kind of run it almost as an esport. I mean, I think that's how they see it. We can see here, so his team, so Tony G's team is called Superfast Racing Esports Team, and the president is very excited. He's got his first Apex car. So obviously they're doing this, I guess, as an experiment. Equally, they're hoping to make money off it. You can make money by winning things in the game, although I don't think that much money at the moment, but that depends on how big the game kind of gets. But the people are seeing this as an emerging opportunity that may be very lucrative in the future, and that's what's driving the price now. And that's kind of interesting, because I think that's a bit different to people buying crypto items because they have a lot of crypto, and it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's kind of hard to see where that kind of valuation model goes. What's interesting about this one is, I'm not saying that this is a good amount to pay. I think all these things will be overpaid, really. But you can kind of see the thinking is this is a businessman who has a lot of value, and he's looking at opportunities which aren't just I'm owning a CryptoPunk sort of thing that will go up in value. He's actually thinking about how is this going to, owning this kind of F1 car, how's it going to impact in the wider world? Is this game going to be big? Is this game going to be an esport? Is it people can make money from this game by winning tournaments? And I think that's a different sort of approach, and I think that will attract a different sort of people. We've seen that actually with esports more generally, not with blockchain. I mean, there's been lots of sportsmen and lots of kind of interesting kind of companies getting involved with esports, whether that's kind of like Overwatch or those sort of games. You can just see that people are very interested in games now in general, and think there's a way, or whether that's just marketing to a big audience, or whether that's a way of actually making money from these things. Not really worked for esports, I would argue so far. I think blockchain will provide a bit more of an opportunity, but I think you will definitely see an increase in interest around that, and obviously that will in turn drive up the prices of these very high-end NFTs. And I think F1 Delta Time, although as a product it hasn't, I don't think, had a particularly great kind of first year as a actual product you can actually play. I mean, I play it, but it's very little you can do really with these things at the moment. The one thing it has done very well is sustain interest at a very high level. And it's kind of interesting that with these kind of auction series, it's now over a year, really a year and a half, where they've managed to drive these very high-end items, and they that philosophy, that idea is really working, and particularly because these new people are coming in, and these teams are setting up. So I think that's interesting. I think that's good for blockchain games in general, and definitely, as I say, I mean, I've got a few cars in F1 Delta Time, not quite the tens of thousands of dollar level. I've not won any money yet either, so maybe that's where I'm going wrong. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you like blockchain games or are interested in them, and hope to see you again soon.